good morning, and welcome. How's everybody doing this beautiful Friday morning on the 26th of the day after Christmas? I hope everybody got some good gifts. I got some decent stuff, can't complain. I hope everyone is feeling great today. I am definitely okay, a bit low energy right now because I was up late as it goes. And that just means that this is a perfect week for a React week. I apologize a bit because clearly I'm an hour late. Sorry. I needed that sleep. I needed that good sleep. That hasn't changed. I feel like it was necessary. Is that who I think it is?
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
All right. Totally. Sure. So yeah, we're gonna react to some stuff. Uh we're gonna try to keep the mood generally more lighthearted. And that's really only because I've chopped through a lot of the political stuff that I would have otherwise saved to today to comment on today. So we're gonna keep it generally lighthearted, but I might go through my watch later to see if I picked out anything because I was adding stuff to that for the specific purpose of reacting. I just haven't checked it in a second. What the hell? My feed is so wild. But that's what we're gonna do. Just gonna react a little bit, watch some videos, keep it chill. I don't think we're gonna play any games today. I'm open to it, but for right now, the plan is just chill. Here we go. Um, what is this? This looks good. Oh, fake. Why else Casually hits him with the ultimate yoink and walks back inside like he's just. What's the game plan? What's this guy thinking? I don't understand. People are definitely smart at all times. Are we actually just live streaming The Lord of the Rings? I haven't watched all of those movies in perpetuity, like straight through. I've only seen clips here and there. I think I've seen The Hobbit.
Here are your grades.
Oh no, Mrs. Krabappel. If I don't get a C average, my dad won't let me go to Camp Krusty. Much obliged, doll.
I'm gonna miss you.
I did not even remember
Wake up, boy.
I dreamt it was the last day of school.
Well, it is.
You promised if Bart and I got C averages, we could go to Camp Krusty.
Yeah, well, just remember, when you see my report card, they got this whole new grading system this year. It now goes DBAC. In figuring out my final grades, I hope you'll note that all of my textbooks are being returned in excellent condition. I've never seen an angel fly so low.
Trash.
Check out this hand. All aces.
A plus.
Oh. Well, Dad, here's my report card. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
A plus? You don't think much of me, do you, boy?
No, sir.
Here are your grades.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, did he really expect Homer was just going to buy that shit? We all know Barney, an A plus student. Get the fuck out of here. All right, no shorts. There's not a lot of React comments. Whoa, Ogre Bulls. Oh, why are we just putting random units against each other? If the Ogre Bulls don't win that, I'll be pleasantly confused. Why is she naked?
This house there is a very normal Finnish house. I don't know if it's block of flats or something stupid like that in English. In Finnish we call it kerrostalo, but it's very normal to have a sauna in a house like this. I will show you. It's a little bit cold. Hold on. So my mother is living here. There's also many other people living here behind all these doors, and every one of these homes they have a sauna. Snow. Okay,
Like
okay,
in the
okay.
apartment, or like a public use?
Here is the bathroom. Back here is the sauna.
That is a private
Yes,
sauna.
here in Finland we have more saunas and we have cars. Why? I do not know, but we love it.
And she was just straight up naked the whole time. Okay. Interesting. When are we out to Finland, guys? When are we going? What next? Let's see. What's going on with Jack? I haven't checked in with Jack in a minute.
I am at my absolute limit. I am beyond anger.
Why?
I have transcended the human form. My
Okay.
mind is elsewhere. My body is vacant.
Sure.
My brain is empty.
Okay.
And my will to live has never been at an all-time low like this.
Beg to differ. But go off. Crash out if you need to.
I am done. I feel like I'm one of those anime characters, you know, when they get real close to the screen and they start doing this. And it's like, you know, some shit is about to go down. That's me right now, because I came back from LA like a week ago. And I was already kind of annoyed because I ran out of time to do all the Nostalgia Week things that I wanted to do. I had a big plan to do a bunch of games. I might still do them. Who knows? We'll see. I don't want to sound like that guy. Who knows? We'll see. I came back and I really wanted to record and I had big plans to do. My plan was to get a video out every single day the last week of the year.
Okay.
It was going to be a full game every single day. I had great plans for cool games to do.
What's the problem? Get to the point.
A moment. Peace.
No moment. Get to the point.
Screen of death, because they don't do the blue ones anymore. And it just said something like Windows error file something's not working. OLED monitor, and now that fucking message is burned into the background of it. Update, I tried to didn't work. Just okay, everything seemed to work. OBS was open, we were all good. I filmed an MKV to avoid this. The video will never get corrupted, it's fine. The footage was there. At least we salvaged it. Turns out the video didn't really work either. I was like, I'll freshen. I record my voice. I don't know what to do. It's one of those things that unless you're a YouTuber and you've put the effort into doing something like this or any sort of presentation, you get up the energy, you get in the zone, you get your head around it. It's not, despite what people think, it's not just turning on the camera and like hitting go and then you just sit there and you're like, hey, cool, I'm playing a game now.
Hey, cool. I'm reacting to content now.
I mean, it's still easy to do, but it's not as easy as a lot of people think. What am I, a Twitch streamer?
I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing the greater picture because I'm still small time, small apples, but he has a Twitch. I'm pretty sure he started on YouTube, but if you're I'm pretty sure you didn't have 31 million views 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm pretty sure Twitch had something to do with that. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Also, is this whole video just complaining about streamer problems? I made a video and it didn't work. The file got deleted and corrupted, and all the hard work I did is gone. If that's what this video is, then I'm sorry, but too bad. It's kind of an issue that you have to accept dealing with when you get into this job and industry, and being someone who's been in a successful position for as long as Jack has. I don't see the point of this video. Honestly, I'm just kind of done with it. Just seems like he's just kind of complaining about being a rich and successful YouTuber, and I don't know, that kind of stuff grinds my gears a bit. It's like, why complain? Yeah, it's not just turning on the camera, but you have people you can afford to pay people that do all the extra work for you beyond just turning on the camera and being yourself. Maybe that wasn't always the case, but certainly is now. So why complain about it now? You turn on the button, you hit the button, you record, and if it doesn't work out, you do it again. You're still gonna make a
She
million
gave
views
bro
the next
all
time
the
you post
signs
it.
and he didn't see a single
50K views every single time you post a video. Like,
I am at my absolute limit.
2.1 million views, bro. 2.5 million views just for that. 3.5 just for that. 3.3 just for. Come on. Who you kidding? You could put out
I am
anything
at
and
my
you'd get millions of views. So I don't know what the point of complaining about not getting a video or two out is. Maybe that's just me. What's
She
going on?
gave bro all the signs and he didn't see a single one.
Are you okay?
Uh-oh.
What happened? Grab the front brake?
Ayo! She riding with the thong on? It's a thong! Ow!
It's okay.
She gave bro all the signs.
It's okay.
She's. I don't know how you could ride a dirt bike with a thong on and not get an ultimate wedgie.
Try doing it with no.
I'm walking.
Well, I'm not walking. I'm not walking back up this hill.
You're driving.
Driving?
No, I don't want to do it. I just fell. No.
This is why you wear some dirt bike clothes.
But
What?
press the back brake and it's still slid.
Yeah. No, I see what she's talking about. You know what? I think he's already tapping that. She just
It's a bad road, and he just came to say
doesn't want to ride no more, dude. Subscribe. She gave bro.
Oh, no, that's his. Oh, he means that's his girlfriend already. Gotcha. That totally makes sense. And that wasn't. I wanted to believe that was Riz on the road, but it's not. Why is all of this gooner bait, bro? Did you just snipe her? I kind of want to see that, but at the same time, I feel like it's gonna be weird. We'll come back to it. Okay, what are we doing? Let's find a long video to watch. On the one hand, that dog video looks interesting, but I'm not trying to cry so early into the stream. Feel me? This is interesting. What is this?
I've got here a 200-watt drone motor, so you might be wondering why I've decided to strap it to my wrist. In the words of my grandma,
can I sort of start at the very beginning?
I've been working on a device to help mitigate my grandma's tremor. In a previous video, I was able to find some success with a passive tuned mass damper system.
That's amazing.
But I think I can do better. A lot better. In fact, in this video, I ended up trying 5 different ideas to see if I can finally beat this tremor.
Like a handshake? Because I know my aunt's mother has the same thing. How intuitive is a machine that'll just counterbalance that, I wonder, long term? Because as I understand it, the current medical situation is just drugs, and grandma takes these pills, and she's good for a little while, but once like a couple hours pass and they start wearing off, she starts getting the handshakes again. I don't know if this tremors is the same as what my aunt's mother has. I think it's just Parkinson's, but I don't know. This counterbalance idea I wonder if it would have long-term success, and like because you're fighting it, so you're because they say like have back of your neck, the way to fix it, especially because like me, I hunch over like this all the day when I'm like looking at my phone and looking at screens and stuff like that. So I'm always looking at like how to fix the back of my neck, and they say you gotta like if this is your pillow, you gotta like arch your neck around over it so that your head is like so this is basically what your neck would look like really like your head and then your neck and then the rest of your body and then flat. So like your neck would be bulging in the opposite direction so that you would kind of like balance it out because if you're hunched over like this, it's just like it's this but the opposite. But they tell you to lay on your pillow with your head hanging off the pillow to straighten out your neck, your vertebrae in your neck. And I'm wondering if this is a similar methodology to that. I wonder. Also, is my mic coming in low? I'm gonna turn it up a little bit just for safety reasons because it's reading low, but I think I should still sound fine. Question mark. Let me know.
This idea comes from a product gyro gear, which uses a gyroscope to stabilize the hand. A spinning mass with sufficient angular momentum will resist changes to its axis of rotation and stay steady. Just picture a spinning top, which maintains its balance even if you tap it gently. The keyword here is gently. A top isn't going to resist big forces, and in order to generate enough angular momentum in a spinning mass to steady a shaking hand, we need to spin it really fast. First thing though, I'm just curious what it feels like to hold a gyroscope, so I geared up some computer fan motors and tried to get this mass spinning.
Come on, working before.
These motors just aren't going to cut it, so let me try a brushless DC motor from a drone. This has much more power, and I can clip on some mass to increase the moment of inertia. And moving this around feels very odd. It's not necessarily stable, the side-to-side motion seems to be converting into a sort of rotation of the hand. Now, after looking into this, it turns out that rotation is called nutation, a sort of wobbling around the axis of rotation. The faster we spin, the smaller this becomes, so I either need much more mass or much more speed, but...
That's why if you've ever spun the bottle top or, did this shit with the coin, you could spin the coin on a table, and as it'll start to slow down, it'll get more wobbly and start bouncing around. But if you can get it real fast, it almost looks like it's not moving at all because it's just so stable. That's nutation. Just thought I'd be a little weird there and add that.
This motor already sounds like a jet trying to take off. So I'm going to try another approach that I encountered while researching satellite stabilization. You may recall that every force has an equal and opposite force.
Correct. Newton's law of science. What the hell? No, I'm not that autistic. I'm just looking to see what we're gonna go for next. I don't think anything down here though. I don't think we're watching anything down here. We might have to go through more science stuff. I've probably got some more science in my watch next. Here, check out watch next.
Pushing a ball to the right pushes this person back to the left.
Correct.
The same is true in a rotating frame. If I spin something to the right, it will create an opposite torque spinning to the left. Here you can see if I attach the motor to my hand and start it up, a small torque is applied to my hand in the opposite direction. If I can program this motor to always spin in the opposite direction of the tremor, it could cancel out the forces. That means I need to somehow track the tremor, but I can do that with an accelerometer. This will tell me in which direction the hand is tilting and how quickly.
That was the part that I was definitely genuinely concerned about, is how would you trace the movements in such a way to be able to tell the motor which way to spin to counterbalance the force of the tremor. And if a sensor that basically, like acts according to acceleration. In a way, it's accelerating. If you could fine tune that, I could see that working. Yeah, this is mathematics and engineering at its finest right here.
I'll program the motor to rotate in response to the accelerometer. If it tilts one way, the motor spins the opposite way. I'll add some mass to the motor's shaft and attach it to my wrist. Now if I tilt my hand one way, it revs up in the opposite direction. I've modified my tremor simulator from last video to now simulate wrist rotation. The wrist is coupled to the motor only with springs tuned to its oscillating frequency. This just means that the wrist is uncoupled from the motor, so while the motor is driving the wrist to rotate, it can still be held steady. I'll do a test where the device is turned on and one where it is turned off to see if there's a change.
There's a noticeable difference.
The tremor looks like it's reduced, and that's great. However, practically speaking, the device is just too big and too loud. Now I managed to reduce the form factor, but ultimately I wasn't able to get anything that was sufficient.
This is basically how you iterate the iPhone, really, by the way. Because they found an answer to a problem and they just kept iterating on it until it got to a point where you can, like, wide mass produce it and sell it. It's like, how do we connect with people? We need a little device to do that. It's got to be easy to use. And then they probably started off with something very similar to like a block phone in the back in the days, and eventually worked down to what we have today. And I just like seeing the process of stuff like that, especially from someone who's building something literally from scratch, because I will see this probably in the market 10 years from now as the new cutting edge medical device for dealing with people with tremors, and I'm like, damn, how does that even work? I saw a video 10 years ago about the guy who invented it making it work. I think I know now. That's just cool to me. It's not like I'm ever going to use that info, but it's cool.
Sufficiently small and powerful enough to be practical. Not to mention, it would have to be battery powered, charged regularly, not get wet, and I think most importantly, it's just completely disruptive in volume. So while in principle that was quite effective, I decided to go back to the drawing board and see if I can improve on the previous passive device. I elaborate more on this in the previous video, but basically, if I can build something with a mass that wants to oscillate at the same frequency as the tremor, the energy from the tremor can go into the mass instead of into the hand. A classic way to get something to oscillate is with springs, and you can calculate what mass and what spring strength you need to get the right oscillation.
Energy is so cool. It doesn't really look like it, but that spring is basically dispersing the energy that was used initially to allow it to go up and down, and little by little, you lose such a minuscule amount of energy that you can't even detect it with your eyeball, but eventually that spring will stop springing. And it's not like necessarily gravity or anything like that, because, well, no, gravity does actually, I think, play a part in that. It's like a stabilizing force, in a sense. But yeah, no, given that gravity wouldn't exist, that the energy would still dissipate, just probably much slower because there's less force acting upon it. But the the bouncing of the spring is subtly, very subtly, releasing the momentum of the physical energy that was applied to it, and that's basically what the concept of adding mass to the rotating movement of this device. The theory of it is you're dispersing the energy from the shaking into a device that's also going to actively counterbalance the force of the shaking to reduce it significantly. It's, yeah, engineering.
In our case, 5 Hz. The previous version had made use of 4 springs, but ultimately it was too big and was too floppy. So I put together a model for a new version that was a bit more compact and had room for a bunch of springs to account for different angles. After buying a bunch of springs and none of them being quite right, I made my own out of guitar strings. I installed all the springs and wound a copper wire around the outside so that it would have the right mass to oscillate at the right frequency. I put it on the tremor simulator and, well, it was a complete flop. The mass was just way too much for the springs to handle. So I thought, okay, maybe instead of having springs, I'll have the bracelet oscillate using something else, maybe cantilevers. Springs aren't the only thing that can oscillate, lots of things do. I saw some
It's really just the engineering side of this that I'm missing personally. I love the physics, I love the science behind it, the math, but I just don't know what a cantilever is. Like, the mechanical tools that an engineer would use to solve these problems are all new to me. But I can kind of follow along if I understand the mathematic science behind this. Like I got the point of adding the mass. So let's see how this works. I'm very curious.
Research by Sarah Gabai that showed it might be promising to suppress tremor with a cantilever, i.e. a protruding beam. It's not hard to imagine tapping this beam and that it might oscillate back and forth. So I built my own and tried to keep it as compact as possible.
So something like a metronome, basically. Kind of, but not quite, because a metronome is meant to keep but it's using that back and forth energy to like disperse it. It's like the trusses on a bridge, they're not necessarily completely rigid, or because they have to be able to wobble a little bit to dissipate like high volume winds and stuff like that in case there's a lot of shaking and stuff like that, and also so that there's not a lot of friction at the bolts and the joints, because if there's a lot of friction, those will deteriorate and break off, and then eventually just sections of the bridge will fall off. So it's not like every beam on a bridge is necessarily structurally rigid, especially at the trusses, because that'll connect to like that long tubey thingy that's kind of like curvature, and that's where the bridge will disperse a lot of momentum and energy that might be moving the bridge as a whole, especially to tons of heavy vehicles or massive winds, basically. So the idea is the back and forth movement of a kind of semi-flexible rod will disperse the kinetic energy, hopefully.
I used a bunch of different materials and masses, and ultimately had the most success with, again, guitar strings. I designed a bracelet with 4 locations for cantilevers to slot into, and brought it to my grandma to test.
Guys, I somehow lost that footage. But you're not missing much. While it had a slightly better form factor, it worked a bit worse and kept breaking. And crucially, it was only keeping the wrist steady, which was never the main culprit. The hand was the problem. And this is the thing that took me so long to notice. The hand is shaky, but the wrist mostly isn't.
Which I guess makes sense, because with the cantilever, it would basically, the base of it would be where it applies the most stability, because the energy is getting dispersed more closer to the top as it's wiggling. So it's really only keeping the point at which it connects to the base the most stable. So if this is the part that's actually moving around a lot, then this is fine, but this is the point of what we're trying to fix over here. So it's gotta be whatever is keeping the whole thing stable. It's gotta keep the whole thing, not just this part. So with a rod, especially if you're making it out of any sort of metallic material. I don't think this is the case for. Actually, I don't know if this is the case for guitar strings, because they're kind of meant to be flexible and adjustable, right? But with any material that's typically meant to be rigid, especially like aluminum surfaces and stuff like that, the more friction and the more movement that happens within it, the more likely you are to cold work the molecules within it. That will basically over time make it more fragile. Like it'll make it so rigid that it'll want to try to resist the bending motion, because it kind of like hardens out. And that's why we apply heat to metal when we're working it, in order to shape it into different ways, because if you just try to shape it while it's cold, you just end up snapping it and breaking it. Whereas because once the metal is cold, the molecules will harden into place. So if the friction that's being dispersed through, well, the momentum, really, because it's not really friction, there's nothing really rubbing against each other. If the momentum that's being dispersed through the top of the cantilever is not being sent basically through a different material, and it's just being focused on the cantilever, then the part of the cantilever that's um, basically doing the most work in distributing the energy of the back and forth movement, which is not going to be actually closer to the tip. It's going to be like a little bit away from the tip of the top, because that's what's going to wobble around the most, is going to get cold worked to the point of it snapping. So yeah, that could, depending on what material you use to actually make the cantilever, it could cold work the inside of it and eventually cause it to snap and be, basically structurally unsound. So that all made sense to me from that perspective.
So they gave me a final idea. Forget the high tech. Maybe I can just use a stick. Well, a fancy stick. It could strap onto the wrist and have a handle at the top to hold tight to. Then the hand is braced against the wrist and kept steady. And guys, this idea was so simple that it actually worked.
See, there's like no shaking there.
That's
minimal.
So much better. It's much easier going to. It's a new.
So no motor, no counteracting force, no sensors, and all of that stuff was way over engineered. You just needed to apply the shaking movement more throughout the arm so that it's lessened at the hand itself. Because what she's doing is she's still basically shaking, but because the stability is all throughout her wrist and like even slightly up her forearm, it's the momentum and the shaking is being distributed, so she's not feeling it as much in her hand. Which is basically how the cantilever is supposed to get rid of the excess energy from the momentum, but without working anything really. It's just kind of, it's kind of like how the truss is actually supposed to work.
Easier movement.
Yeah.
Into my mouth.
Look at you move, Ma. All right. Oh my gosh. I can't keep up with you. All right.
It's so fun, Tristan. You've no idea. I feel quite famous already. Thank you.
There's room for improvement and I'll keep making changes, but this is a result that I'm very much surprised by and very happy with.
That was a good video.
Hello, fellow engineers.
I like that video. That was a really good video. I'm glad that worked out. Did I drop a like? I hope I dropped a like.
I've got here a 200 watt drone motor, so you might be wondering why I've decided to strap it to my wrist. In the world.
Hello, fellow engineers, and welcome back to Polybridge 3. So here we are, over a year later from when I first played the game, the 46th episode of the pod.
This is the final bridge. I don't care about this really. Not really. It's a game. I thought this was I don't know why I thought that was something else. You've got me intrigued. Also, what the hell? I don't remember seeing that. Oh yeah, you can just get straight up invaded now, I think, or something like that.
You know what would be neat, Steve, if you could beam yourself up here for a weekend and we could just become the perpetual Uber geek.
About 10 years ago, I was playing with some beads in my loft when I accidentally discovered this weird chain fountain phenomenon, also known as the mold effect. No big deal. And unbelievably, an astronaut just video called me from space so that we could figure out together whether this one little detail about my explanation of the chain fountain is correct, because this one little detail can only be tested in 0G. And along the way, we discovered that chain behaves a lot more weirdly than either of us had predicted. More on how all this came about later, but first, what is this thing that we were testing? Well, my explanation of the chain fountain is generally considered to be correct, following a 6-video argument with Mehdi from Electro Boom.
He was right.
But one part of my explanation had to kind of just be accepted as true without really testing it, because, well, it can't be tested properly in gravity. Now, this might make me sound like a sore winner, but I really just wanted to prove this last little bit experimentally. And anyway, assuming it is...
Because I'm not good at predicting, but I'm good at understanding. Does it have to do with the shape? Like keeping it like in a perfect circle? Because based on what I'm looking at with this like bottom chain here, it looks like once you get it like rotating in 0 gravity, it'll just keep following the same track that it's shaped as, basically, because there's nothing to operate on it. So it's like a train following a trail. It's gonna stay the same shape and move along the same trajectory the whole way, unless you try to alter it. Is the point to like try to get it to stay like a perfect circle and see if it? Yeah, no, that would prove it, I guess, right?
Right, I just knew that it would look insanely cool in space. But what is this crucial part of the explanation that we're all just accepting? Well, in the absence of gravity, like on the ISS, if you were to release some chain, it should just float there in whatever random shape it was given.
Right.
But what if you were to tug on one end of the chain? Would it flatten out? Or would it hold its shape and flow like this? We need it to hold its shape for my explanation of the chain fountain to be right. But why? Well, look, I can highly recommend a series of videos by me and Mehdi if you want the full explanation, link in the card in the description for that. But in short, the chain rises above the pot in a fountain because of an extra upward force coming from the pot. How strong does that force need to be, though? Well, it needs to be able to overcome the weight of this arc of chain that would obviously fall under gravity. And that's it. That's all you need. But you might look at this system and think, well, no, the extra upward force from the pot needs to be much greater than that because, look, the chain is being yanked downwards by this large bit of chain down here. But that's the crazy thing. According to the maths, that yanking of the chain has no influence on the arc at all. If gravity wasn't a factor, the arc would be fixed there in space, even though it was being yanked downwards at one end. Or at least that's the theory. That's what we want to test. We want to test the theory that a chain moving at constant speed will flow through its own shape so long as it isn't acted on by an external force like gravity.
So he's saying that arc the arc is going to happen because that's the way the force is being applied. I don't know how they apply that initial force on the chain, maybe just by pulling out the chain and dragging it downward. But as that force is being applied and sending it upward, the arc is actually getting taller and taller over time as less of the chain is in the cup or in the storing place and more of the chain is outside, which is weird because you would think the opposite to be true, generally speaking. So he's saying that it's only getting bigger because of the gravity, because of the force that's also acting on it, because the force shouldn't be a factor in whether or not the chain keeps its shape, but because the force is being applied in both directions, that it's also increasing the arc, and that in space it should just keep a consistent shape. I think I've got that.
What I really wanted to test was this. You've got a chain floating stationary in space and you tug on one end. Let's see what happens. But it turns out it's impossible to get a chain to be stationary in space. I actually think that setup wouldn't have been fruitful anyway because the behavior that we're looking for only works in steady state, not while the chain is speeding up. And the whole chain would have had to speed up from zero movement in this setup anyway. A side note on how chaotic the movement of the chain is, Don likened it to the movement of molecules. We tend to model these like slowly moving blobs, but there's a lot of energy down there. And just like in zero-G, there's nowhere for the energy to go, so the molecules sort of wiggle and writhe about, just like the chain here. Anyway, my other idea to test the theory was to hold the chain in something analogous to a pot. In other words, just have it all bunched up somewhere and then pull one end of the chain out of that bunched up mess at a constant speed. And as you're pulling it, if you give it a shape, then it should hold that shape in space as it's leaving the pot. It should just add into what you've already created without that shape changing. Right. The problem with that is it's basically impossible to pull something at a constant speed, and the clumped up beads just get tangled and they start to float apart. And by the way, we only had 25 minutes for the call because a satellite was gonna go out of view. Actually, a bit of a tangent about the tech behind the video call. I put some Skype sounds in at the start of this video because I thought it was funny, but of course you can't use Skype to talk to someone in space because, I mean, you need to think about satellites and how are you going to communicate. It was Microsoft Teams. It was a Teams call. And like, there was basically no lag. I don't understand how they did it. But anyway, I had one more idea for how to test the theory. What if we turn the chain into a loop and then put the loop into a non-circular shape like a rectangle? My idea was to then grab the opposite sides of the rectangle and then like pull them like that, so that you're not throwing the chain anywhere, you're just giving the chain motion like around the loop of chain. Intuitively, you would expect it to pop out into a circle, but if my theory is right, then it should hold that rectangular shape.
Third hand, we're making a triangle and we're going to release it together. 1, 2, 3. 3. 3. It's really...
It's impossible. But obviously we couldn't actually get the chain to form that shape and hold that shape without anyone touching it, because chain just doesn't do what you want it to do in zero gravity. On Earth, it's so easy to get something to stop moving. You just put it down. When you took your hand away from the bead chain, there was just so much energy in there already. It just kind of spreads out. But we just needed to get some non-circular shape, and we needed to get the chain flowing.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. It's almost a circle now.
That's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Which is actually, interestingly, not what I expected, because I was expecting it not to pop out into a circle.
But look at that. It started it's still rotating, and I think the radial acceleration is going to straighten this thing out. Let's just keep it going.
You've done stuff with like a drop of water and a bubble and things like that, haven't you? Where you've got this surface tension that's turning it into a sphere or a circle. You don't have that here, so I don't think it ever will turn into a circle. That's the thing that is hopefully going to demonstrate this weird thing about chains. How cool is that, though? It does seem to be holding its shape. Look, even from this angle, you can see part of the chain was actually bent out towards Don, and that part of the chain shape is holding too. But Don has a point, actually. The chain does seem to be very slowly turning into a circle, or at least it's becoming more rounded. So does that mean I'm wrong? Well, the mathematical analysis assumes that there is no friction between the joints of the chain. And I had a suspicion that that might be why the real chain is slowly becoming circular. So I asked my friend Martin Beyer to simulate different scenarios for me. Here, there's no friction between the joints. But look what happens when we turn friction on. Over time, the chain becomes more and more circular. So I think it's fair to say that the chain is behaving how we would expect. Actually, we discovered a few other really interesting things on the call.
You are so right. This behaves totally different than a string. Because of the lack of friction at every joint, and a thread for sewing, it sticks out fairly straight. Its inherent stiffness shows up. But here, with these low friction joints between every segment, it's amazing what this thing does.
It's so interesting, isn't it, how many things behave completely differently when you remove gravity. I had no idea that rope and string would just straighten out because of the elasticity in it.
Yeah.
So you've got an intuition for how string and rope behaves on the ISS, and then the chain doesn't behave like that.
You see, I could actually steer the string around by torquing on the yo-yo, but a beaded chain has a mind of its own. It responds to air current.
Yeah.
It responds to gravity gradient. If you don't have air currents, it'll end up stretching out in the direction of the gravity gradient if you leave it alone.
No.
It's really quite amazing. It doesn't work the way we thought it was going to work, but then that's what it's like when you're doing a discovery.
Yeah.
So this is around the world, and then this is the tether assist. So when you are in weightlessness, you get to make up your own yo-yo trick names. And then let's see if I can make it come. There we go.
Prior to the call, Don was experimenting with static charge, which meant we could loosely hold one end of the chain in place. Whoa! Whoa!
See, it's... You can,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And I have video of this with a nice black background.
That's awesome.
Circular wave. Hold off again. And notice, now, with one free end, it's really tough to control it, send a wave down. Each bead here is about 3 millimeters. I put a string of French clips together, and these are 50 millimeter links. And I just want to show you that this behaves just like the beaded chain, but the length scale is 3 millimeters to 50 millimeters.
You might be wondering how all this came about, by the way. Well, after I made that video in my loft, I've been milking it ever since. In fact, you could argue that my entire career is built on a flailing chain of beads. Like at one point I held the world record for the tallest chain fountain, but eventually it was taken by a TV show in China, until I took it back. 3, 2, 1. What the hell happened there? And I guess at some point a 3-story high sculpture was erected in Guatemala. And of course I got into a real public feud with that scoundrel Electro Boom about it. And it was during that video argument that I mentioned the behaviour that we've been looking for here. So in that video, I asked if anyone knows how to get the attention of someone on the International Space Station, let me know. Well, Stefan Ennis from the European Space Agency got in touch. Thanks, Stefan. And eventually, Samantha Cristoforetti climbed aboard a rocket with 4 meters of bead chain in her pocket. Unfortunately, she was quite busy, what with being the commander of that mission, so she didn't really have an awful lot of time to be fiddling about with beads. But she got the chain up there, and that's an important first step. And brilliantly, she put me in touch with another astronaut, Don Pettit. Now, the great thing about Don is you can nerd snipe him.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I mean, there's a lot of great things about Don. But anyway, I explained about the bead chain currently languishing on the International Space Station, and he really got into it, and he said he'd look for the beads next time he was up there. And then at some point we were emailing about the experiments, and he said, you know, look, it's hard to really communicate over email. Let's have a video call. And I was like, yes, that would be amazing. Just like on a personal note, this was obviously a once-in-a-lifetime experience, just unbelievable. There was a period as a kid where I wanted to be an astronaut, but the job that I ended up having, which is making science videos on YouTube, somehow means that I ended up having a video call with one, and like we were doing science together, science that had never been done before, you know? It just, I almost can't believe it happened. But yeah, beads in space. I think I've peaked. Literally. A huge thank you to Issa and Samantha and Don and NASA for making it happen. An extra big thank you to John Stevens, the person on the ground at NASA who put the video call together, made sure that all worked, because honestly, like, I was pretty nervous about it because we only had one shot. It was 25 minutes and my internet at home was terrible, so I had to, you know, set up somewhere else that had good internet. And John just made it all really smooth, put my mind at ease. The full conversation, unedited, plus Don's extra footage that he filmed for me outside of the video call, unedited, is available over on my Patreon. Link in the description for that. Oh, also thank you to Rohan Francis from Midlife Crisis, because he was all over this, even before I got in touch with Issa. Look at him go.
Look at that go.
So there you go. That's the evidence that, that we have from space.
We did a learn. We did a learning, guys. What? What the hell? I don't know StarCraft like that, but 94 little thingies and one big thing. Funny. Not now. I'll come back. No, I don't want to get too crazy with that. Also, streamception, like what the hell? Why is that in my feed? Nice. Alright, here we go.
This is my friend Earl, a tiny jumping spider with funny eyebrows. To get a sense of how small she is, here she is next to an orange, and here she is next to a watermelon. Despite their size, jumping spiders are surprisingly rewarding pets, and incredibly, you can actually build trust with them. In just 14 days, Earl went from being scared of me to accepting food, to even hopping onto my finger and letting me hold her. But this time, I wanted to take things even further, so over the next 30 days, I set out to see just how far a human can bond with a spider, and I had no idea what was about to unfold. And this all begins in our brand new home.
My cockles are already thoroughly warmed and are ready to get proceedingly warmer. Let's watch this heartwarming video before things take an inevitable turn for the worst.
If there is one thing that's stressful for a spider, it's moving house, and ever since we moved into our new home, Earl doesn't trust me like she used to. So the first goal is to gain Earl's trust back, the second goal is for Earl to approach me completely voluntarily, and the third goal is to find Earl a boyfriend. Now this last one was wild, but more on that later. There is only one way to truly gain a spider's trust, and it's through their stomach. Now Earl was eating crickets before, but there is one food she simply cannot say no to. So to conquer that first goal and win Earl's trust back, I'm offering her a bottlefly. She hasn't taken food directly from me since we moved house, and as I sit here, fly in hand, nothing changes. 3 minutes pass by, and still nothing. But it seems that the lure of a tasty meal is too much for our little arachnid, and Earl makes her way over. I will never get bored of that little face, even when she has a fly in her mouth, and I'm counting this as a huge win, but it's only half of the battle, and the real test of trust is whether or not she will let me hold her again. Okay, baby steps. We are ending the day with Earl climbing back into her terrarium, and we will try again in a few days. It's day 4, and for the first time since day 1, Earl is out of her.
Earl is so cute. I may need to do one of these one day. Little baby spider. It's so adorable. Look at it. He's just doing his own thing.
Her terrarium. I extend my hand out to her, and without the promise of food, surprisingly, she climbs on. Are we really back at pre-house move bonding levels? Well, if she completes this next challenge, I can tick off the first 2 goals. I'm going to create a bridge between 2 chairs. At one end is me, and on the other end is Earl. If Earl can walk the length of the bridge and climb on my finger, she will get a reward. But the catch is, she doesn't know that she's getting a reward. So let's test this out. I cannot believe I did that. Now she's understandably nervous and moves to the side of the bridge. I make some gestures at the other end, and Earl begins to make her way over. The likelihood is that she has now associated my big moon face with food and is feeling a little hungry. Earl has now reached the other side of the bridge and approaches my finger. The first attempt doesn't work and she wanders off. Undeterred, I try again. And fail. Come on, Earl, I'm not going to hurt you. At the third and final attempt, Earl slowly crawls onto my finger, and I think we can tick off the first 2 goals. I almost forgot, I promised you a prize, Earl, and here you go. But just as I thought that we were in a good place, a big fat problem gets thrown into the works.
She's just shaking her little booty, doing a little dance. It's so cute. Spider house lady.
It's day 10 and now Earl has stopped laying the funk down. Let me explain what this problem is. Jumping spiders molt, which is where they grow too big for their exoskeleton and have to literally break out of it. The process is easier and safer when they're younger, but as explain what this problem is. Jumping spiders molt, which is where they grow too big.
So what you're telling me is, its head comes off of its body, and is just a head until it grows a new body? That is equally terrifying and metal as hell. What the heck? That's just a carcass, basically, what he's holding. And that was just attached to it. That was just its body not too long ago. Yo, nature is weird, dog. Nature is so weird. Holy hell.
Big for their exoskeleton and have to literally break out of it. The process is easier and safer when they're younger, but as the spider gets older, the risk of a bad molt increases, and the final molt is the time where most people lose their jumping spiders. For this process, Earl has made herself a little hammock and she will stay in here until it's complete. I checked back every day and the only sign that she was okay was that she had changed position slightly. It's only when your spider's life is in danger that you realise just how attached you've become, and I can't help but feel a little helpless as she goes through this process all on her own. But in the interest of optimism, and with all fingers and toes crossed for Earl, there is a third goal to complete, and there is someone that I would like you to meet. This is Toe Jam, Earl's potential boyfriend. Here he is next to a peanut, and here he is next to a tomato.
Earl and Toe Jam sure are spider names.
Toe Jam is smaller, darker, and has his romance tools right next to his mouth. More on that later. Toe Jam has no idea that his girlfriend is in the middle of a life or death battle, but as a warm-up, let's see how he reacts to a video of Earl. The meeting of two jumping spiders is dangerous. Females are bigger, stronger, and in the worst case scenario, can actually eat the male. Toe Jam is well aware of some movement and gently approaches the screen. He starts to climb on, but Earl moves in the video, which causes him to jump back. Come on, buddy, compose yourself. But this is one smart spider, and it's clear that he knows something isn't quite right, and here's why. Jumping spiders have insanely good vision with their 8 eyes and their ability to sense depth. While a 2D video with a female jumping spider on there does grab his interest, it doesn't take Toe Jam long to realise that this is actually not a real spider. He climbs around on the screen for a bit before scarpering away, and we end day 16 with a new member of the Worcester Terrarium's family. But there has been a development and it requires our immediate attention. Earl has been in her web for over a week without eating or drinking, and as I checked on her this morning, I had a feeling something was about to happen. Her little silhouette moves around in her web, and over the course of 30 minutes, she breaks out of her exoskeleton and successfully molts. But we are not out of the woods just yet, because on the morning of day 20, I made a discovery. I promise you that if you ever get a pet jumping spider, you will go through a roller coaster of emotions during its short life. like if you find a random leg in their terrarium. And I didn't find just one. Now this is reminding me of my first ever jumping spider, Aerith, who died just 2 days after her final molt. So when I found Earl lying motionless on a leaf this morning, my heart sank. But don't worry, because Earl is fine and had just kicked her old exoskeleton out of her web. The molt has been a success and the most dangerous part of Earl's life is over. But the most dangerous part of ToeJam's life is about to begin.
Uh-oh. Don't get eaten, little guy.
Everything on this journey has led to this moment, and if it doesn't work, he will get eaten. As he climbs out of the film canister, I have an overwhelming urge to stop the process and keep them both safe. But as Earl has trusted me during her entire life, it's time that I trust her. ToeJam spots Earl and runs over to her, and the window of intervention has now passed. It's down to them. The seductive dance begins and Earl watches on. As he gets closer, she backs off, and as he retreats, she moves forwards, legs raised and fangs revealed, and I do not know if this is in defense or if she's accepting his invitation. And then she chooses. Earl allows ToeJam to climb on her, and for the next 10 minutes, the spiders roll around in the film canister and successfully mate. But if you thought that watching spiders do it was strange, well, it's about to get a whole lot stranger. Because in the throes of passion, they spill out onto the table, and suddenly, ToeJam becomes aware of me. Each time I adjust the focus on my camera, he lunges forwards with his arms in the air. ToeJam, man, I am engaged and Earl is all yours. Now amidst all of this X-rated spider footage, I almost forgot. We can tick off the final goal, and as a gentle reminder of the journey we've been on together, Earl steps onto my thumb and look how cute she is. She hops back into her terrarium, very likely pregnant, and of course, this is not the end of the story, but there is one more thing I'd like to ask from you. I've written 2 books about terrarium making, and if you would like to support me, buying a copy is the best way to do so. There's even a section on jumping spiders. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned for the incoming tidal wave of baby jumping spiders.
I spent weeks secretly studying ape communication in order to convince these apes.
I've never been more intrigued by the first 4 seconds of a video in my entire life. Wait. This is the guy. This is the guy that speaks every language. Now he's gonna try speaking in animals. Is there anything this guy can't talk to? Like, I've seen these. I've seen some of these. This is incredible. Alright, I know what we're doing now for a little while.
That I was one of them. Bonobos are the closest living relatives of human beings, and while attempts have been made to teach them to use human language, it is very rare for human beings to try to communicate with bonobos on their terms using bonobo vocalizations and gestures. And so when I attempted to do exactly this as an innocent visitor to this bonobo research center, the bonobos were genuinely shocked and we bonded in order to convince these apes that I was one of them. Bonobos are the closest living relatives of human beings, and while attempts have been made to teach them to use human language, it is very rare for human beings to try to communicate with bonobos on their terms using bonobo vocalizations and gestures. And so when I attempted to do exactly this as an innocent visitor to this bonobo research center, the bonobos were genuinely shocked and we bonded pretty hard. I'm running this video as a fundraiser for Ape Initiative, a federally recognized nonprofit which is the world's only bonobo research center. Bonobos are an endangered species, and Ape Initiative works with scientists and educators to help understand bonobo behavior with an aim towards ensuring their preservation in the wild.
Little does this guy know, I live in New York City. I communicate with some bonobos on a regular basis.
Consider donating to the fundraiser if you can, or visit their website at www.apeinitiative.org to learn more. And also a huge thank you to today's sponsor, MyHeritage, for making this crazy experiment possible. Bonobos and humans shared a common ancestor about 6 million years ago, and our DNA is almost 99% identical. But if you're looking to learn more about your own human ancestry, today's sponsor, MyHeritage, can help you do that. I had previously partnered with MyHeritage on a video revealing my DNA test results, but today they've got an improved DNA ethnicity model based on advanced new algorithms that give much higher resolution ethnicity estimates that can pinpoint the exact regions and sometimes even cities that your ancestors came from. So after a simple cheek swap to send in my DNA, and by the way, MyHeritage is committed to never sell or license your genetic data, I am ready to see my results. Ready to explore your ethnicity? I'm very excited. Let's go. 51.1% Ashkenazi Jewish. Only 51%? Oh, 48.9% Ashkenazi Jewish from Poland. This is actually, to be honest, this is not surprising. I knew that one side of my family came from Russia and the other side from like Poland to Eastern Europe. You can see a breakdown of even more granular regions. With MyHeritage, you can also check out DNA matches. So these are people who you match DNA with. And it looks like I have a second cousin from Switzerland? What? No way. So make sure you click the link in the description box or scan the QR code and use coupon code XIAO, that's X-I-A-O, for free shipping. And as an added bonus, you can start a 30-day free trial of MyHeritage's best subscription for family history research. Now back to the video. Let's go.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Des Moines.
I feel like I'm in Area 51 over here.
Little Jurassic Park for you.
Yeah, this is actual Jurassic Park, and you got to have bonobos, I heard.
We do. We are home to 7 bonobos.
In the middle of Des Moines, Iowa.
The bonobos that live at Ape Initiative were all born in captivity. They don't have the skills to do well out in the wild.
So they're like rescue apes. Is it right they're the closest living relative to human beings?
Yeah, so bonobos and chimpanzees.
Chimpanzees too.
Yeah, so they're equally closely related to us. They're our closest living relatives. And then bonobos and chimpanzees are actually more closely related to humans than they are to gorillas, orangutans, or any of the other primates.
Really?
So we're their closest
relatives too.
Yes. So the original researchers wanted to know if the bonobos could learn human language. And so they were teaching them not only spoken English, but these arbitrary symbols. And so Kanzi knows over 300 of those individual lexigram symbols that he can use. So Kanzi doesn't have a symbol for every word or every food. And so sometimes he's posed with a new challenge, like being given a food item that he doesn't have a lexigram symbol for and seeing what he calls it. And so one really good example is he called Brussels sprouts trash lettuce.
Trash lettuce.
Trash lettuce.
Like in the sense of that's an insult to me that you would even give me Brussels sprouts because it's trash.
Right, like the idea that he would even use trash, which refers to garbage, and like is not food, right?
Right. It indicates some kind of like abstraction.
Information share.
Calling Brussels sprouts trash lettuce is very much more appropriate than what I've heard actual human beings call Brussels sprouts. And I don't want to reiterate, let's leave it at that.
Sharing theory of mind, a lot of the things that we used to think were unique to humans, we actually think through studies with bonobos and other non-human animals that they have a lot of those capacities as well. Meeting some bonobos.
I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a bonobo in real life before.
So a lot of the early research was really focused on like how human can the bonobos be? What of our language can they learn? An anthropomorphic lens, which was how human are they?
Right.
And really a lot of the work that we do is focused on like, what are bonobos doing naturally with each other that we can learn about? And so I'm so excited for you to get to meet them, because you're really the first person who's coming in with the perspective of you're going to communicate with them using their own language and their own signals.
Or try to at any rate, yeah.
I'm so nervous right now. Oh my god. I'm gonna try to do the broadcast vocalization to announce my presence. We'll see if I can fool them into thinking I'm a bonobo.
In a couple of different groups at a time, the bonobos enter the main room where I wait behind this door. They can't see me yet, but they can hear me through a two-way speaker setup. Our first group is just two bonobos, Kanzi and Tico. First, I did some ground slapping and nods to establish rapport.
That's a chase me. You got him. Like an affiliative thing.
This is my stab at bonobo playface and laughter.
He's always kissing you. That's sweet. He's enthralled. You're sweet.
They really enjoy affiliative tapping, so I tried some of that next. Along with these peeping noises while eating to establish my bonobo-ness. They really like looking in your mouth while you chew.
Make a nice little bed out of that box. Oh, nice. You want Ari to do that too? That's not the same box.
I said that box too little for you. You're not fooling anybody.
I know that. You can do your big play face. Want you to play?
Maybe they're just eating bananas.
Was he clapping?
Yeah, that's
How many
Chase.
bananas?
So he's gonna run like that.
Trying to get this one.
So the double hand clap is Chase.
It's actually quite tiring keeping up with these guys physically.
Yeah, because they got a lot of energy. This is all they do. They play around all day.
Bonobos love to show feet, and they were consistently shocked that I knew how to do this.
One time we got a hold of one of those panels.
That's adorable.
It's triple pane, so it can't break, but it shattered the inner side.
Wow.
I'm gonna not go back, but I'm gonna make him think I'm just not here, so he just hangs out with you guys.
Okay.
That is adorable. He's like, dude, this guy gets it. How does he get it?
So he's gesturing at you.
What's he saying?
He probably wants you to go over now to the keyboard. Well, he might just be telling us on his own. I think we're good. Thank you. He's saying celery.
Celery.
You need celery in the back. You
Celery
want
in the
Ari to bring you celery.
Yeah, he's nodding yes.
Water? You want some water.
Celery and water.
So they play water chase where he'll get misted with the hose, and he loves that. So I think he's asking to get some mist with the hose. Sorry, he likes to scare you.
Okay.
I'm kind of just enthralled by how the monkey thinks to react to what he's doing. He's just I can't tell if he's treating him like another monkey or if he's like clearly aware that.
Let's see if I can use what I learned with the first group to behave even more like a bonobo with the second group. Maisha, Clara, Molly, and Alicia. I think here Maisha actually tries to respond under the door. They can't wait to see what's behind the door, and at one point actually try opening it.
Okay, Amanda, west or east down my door, please.
Yo, they're excited. They're actually excited. They're very curious, all of them. They're just like, yo, what's going on there?
Where's the bonobo?
Right here.
You can peek with them if you want. They heard you.
Oh yeah, now they get it. Now they get it.
Yep, being submissive, that's perfect, Ari.
Lips bared back in a grin and chest out indicates submissiveness. I try out my newly learned double clap for chase on this group to see if it works.
You funny lady.
Oh, I did it. I did it.
It usually takes people years to get her
That's head bobbing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? We're like talking.
Yep, even from
Dude,
afar.
This is awesome.
Wow, it's like sign language almost.
It's like waving to your friend across the cafe. Yep, she's head bobbing.
Who's head bobbing? Oh, what's up?
Yeah, they're very intrigued.
Who invited this guy?
I think they're trying to figure out one who he is and two.
Perfect. Yep. To show
How
her
he's like
intimidating.
communicating.
You do some laughing. You're almost fluent, Ari. So close.
You want to see my feet?
So you know that game.
Oh, they love this. They love this.
Oh, you love my
Loves
feet.
it.
Oh, wow.
You can put your back up and let her scoop you with a big jump.
They're just playful little things.
He'll tickle everything you got, so you just hand it over to that dude.
They just like to play. And they're very quite social. Like, it's clear that they're interested in, they might want to try to be friendly. Like, they're definitely not being hostile by any means.
I feel like I've gone full bonobo.
Not again. Not back to the paper, Maisha. I mean, we've had like school groups come, like, what is he doing? Or where the males will like Gigi rub each other, and they're like, oh, like those are a girl and a boy, and you're like, no, those are two boys.
You said males will rub each other.
They will rub with each other. It's less common than the females or the male females, but the males also will Gigi rub.
And it seems like Gigi rubbing is like very essential for their social interactions.
Yes, extremely. They're the only species of grade 8 that does that, and so it's thought that like that evolved as a way to ease tension and form close bonds, like instead of fighting you.
So what do you think about that?
I think they were really surprised. I think you fooled them. How did it feel?
I feel like I learned from them a little bit, their style of like communicating. And then the second with the girls when they came in, I felt like I was ready to go. I felt like I am bonobo. I've gone full bonobo.
So I think a lot of time people want to interact with them like you would interact with another human. And so it was really refreshing to have you come in and be like, I'm going to learn their language and see if they can pick up, which I think they really did.
They're endangered.
Yes, so bonobos are endangered in the wild, and we really think that if people don't know about bonobos, if we just ignore the fact that they're our closest living relatives, that the species will go extinct in our lifetimes. Habitat destruction and fragmentation. And then there's also a very big illegal bushmeat and pet trade. So the adults are killed and cooked for meat, and then the infants are taken and sold into the pet trade as human pets. And that's why it's so important to have people know about bonobos so we can do more to help protect them and their natural habitats.
Thank you for doing what
I spent weeks training with some of the world's top dolphin researchers to learn to speak like a dolphin in order to see if this pod of actual dolphins would accept me as one of their own. might sound kind of crazy.
I mean, it is a little bit crazy.
But dolphin researchers are actually just starting to crack the mysteries of dolphin communication. And indeed, scientists are attempting to communicate with dolphins using their own communication system. So the question is, if I learn their sound, will they talk back?
There we go.
Or will they just swim away? No, like this. Ready? We'll get back to the video in a second, but first, a huge thanks to Sally for sponsoring it. These days, I travel around the world to make videos, and as a professional YouTuber, I need fast mobile data wherever I am. But staying connected while hopping between countries used to be a real hassle, dealing with different SIM cards, crazy roaming charges, and unreliable Wi-Fi. That's why I started using Sally on most of my trips these days, and it's honestly completely changed my travel game. Sally offers easy-to-use eSIMs that you install just once, directly onto your phone, and you're good to go in over 200 countries and territories. Here's how simple it is. Let's check it out right now. Go into Sally, click Add Data, Country. I mean, again, you got like over 200 countries and destinations. Let's say we wanted to go to New Zealand. Look at that. 1 gigabyte, 7 days, as little as $3.99. 5 gigabytes for $15.99. Super cheap compared with your home carrier roaming. No more waiting in long lines at the airport for a SIM card or worrying about running out of data right when you need directions. It's fast, extremely affordable, and incredibly convenient. And you can try Sally right now with a 15% discount using my exclusive code. Just scan this QR code right here and use code SHAUMANYC at checkout. Now back to the video, let's go. Before I met the dolphins, I wanted to run my idea by some actual dolphin scientists to see what they thought of it.
How are you?
Hello, I'm good, how are you? Dr. Bruck, thank you for making the time.
Of course, happy to do it.
I don't know, I just had one question, which was, can I speak to dolphins? Is that possible? I had this crazy idea that it would be possible to speak to dolphins.
Well, I have one question back. What do you mean by speaking to them?
Right. So
to be able to speak dolphin to a dolphin, it's an anatomy problem. So I'll kind of show you the nature of your problem.
I had sent you some audio samples of my voice to see how it compares to that of a dolphin.
These are called spectrograms. And here's you. So this is you speaking.
Try to go a little bit higher. Hello? Higher? And now let's try even higher. And higher! Ah!
This is dolphin. You'll notice they look kind of different, don't they? These are pure whistles.
It looks like they're whistling at 10,000.
Yeah, but they're much, much higher, like in a way that you probably cannot vocalize. So I'll tell you, as scientists, we do this, but we do it with an underwater speaker. And we take underwater speakers that are pumped into amplifiers, which, devices that we can play. And those devices are playing at sampling frequencies above your human hearing.
One of the key principles when we're trying to understand the function of chords is to do playback experiments in which we observe first when certain chords occur. Then we develop an idea of what could be perhaps the function, when does it get triggered? And then we would play specific chords and see how the animal reacts to it when it hears those chords. We're usually trying to simulate another dolphin. So, right. And then kind of see what the reactions are. In that sense, we are, if you want, in inverted commas, speaking to dolphins, because we're playing sounds back, we're looking at their reactions, and we get them to call back, for example.
My goal is to see how much I can do with my own body. I wanted to show off a dolphin sound to Professor Janik, which I had actually learned from his own research. It's thought to be associated with feeding. Do you want to hear my bray sound?
That's an easy one, but okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just want to skip ahead to the part where
I think
actually see if it works.
I need a little bit more.
Right, this looks like where we
In order to finally meet the dolphins, I met up with my dolphin trainer, Sarah.
So I'm going to take you down today to meet two of my best friends. This is Tanner and Flagler. They were both born here, lived their entire lives here, and we're going to show you some cool stuff with them.
Okay, let's go talk to dolphin.
All right.
Okay. Oh shit, I'm kind of nervous. I've never seen a dolphin before in my life.
Never? Oh, you're going to love these guys then. We have dolphins on both sides.
All right. Here, I want to try to introduce myself in dolphin.
Okay. He's very excited. He's excited. He sees us walking out. He knows we're going to play with them.
Close.
Just making up names. They're going to, like he just did. Ah! Okay. So hold on one moment. The first thing we're going to do is invite the dolphins over to start their session. And the way we do that is with their shapes. Every dolphin has a unique symbol. It's like a name tag. So B and I are going to put those in at the same time. Now that's Flagler. He went straight to his. Good boy. You want to show off? So walk out here. He's going to go for some dives. Beautiful, Tanner. Good boy. So, have you ever touched a dolphin before?
No.
You're going to put 2 hands out in front.
Whoa.
Good. Now Flagler is going to come over. Flagler is one of our loudest whistlers. So, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to him, like you did the whistle. We'll see what he does.
Okay.
So did you see him actually sync? There we go. So we have what we call his signature whistle, which is like his own personal whistle on signal. Yeah, so that's Flagler's whistle. Good boy.
Can I try to do his signature whistle?
Sure.
He's not really nailing it. It's
oh my god.
Like
our dolphins are trained to imitate.
Oh my god.
Get the dolphins to imitate you. Sure.
There we go.
And that sound that ah! That's kind of like
yeah, so that's his excitement. Can you imitate that?
They kind of like chirp. He's farting.
Wow. Good job. Are you a funny guy? You're so funny.
Okay, silly.
Don't actually know what, so that's why I was doing Flagler. We don't actually know for sure what Tanner's is. So in training, this whistle tells the dolphin, yes, that's it. You did it exactly right. So I'm gonna let you.
My whole thing is these dolphins are kind of trained to respond to very specific stimuli. So obviously they're not used to someone trying to do them. They're just used to listening to human commands and operating how they do based on human commands, based on the routine that they're trained in. So I very much doubt that this is doing anything for them, especially because he's not nailing it.
We practice that. So let's send him out on a dive. Go ahead. Nice. All right. Now get your whistle ready. When he's up in the air, you're gonna want to blow that whistle. Perfect. Wow. That was really good for your first try. So I'm going to have you ask Tanner for a behavior that we call a shark impression. And for this one, we also say the word shark.
Ooh, shark? Shark.
Excellent. All right. Now get that whistle ready.
Wow.
Nice.
You are the man. Look at this guy.
Would you like to ask Tanner for his flip? And we say the word circle.
Circle.
Try it one more time.
Circle. What? You did. Oh!
That's an
You
awesome
are in high five?
I'm not gonna lie.
Left to right, and you're going to say
Like I
the
said,
word as you do
they're
it.
listening to
Speed.
literally human commands.
Okay.
And
Speed. Speed.
yeah, they're operating based off of specific commands that
So let's do some more imitation.
Yeah.
Just spin in a circle like that. All right, Tanner, what's he doing?
Actually.
Nah.
I don't think he likes my own imitation of dolphins.
Well,
I think I offended him.
These aren't really things that he's used to seeing, but that's okay. We like varieties.
Wow.
You want to show off some more? Yeah?
That's cute.
Oh man.
Beautiful, buddy. So Tanner is also very smart. He can do multiple things at a time. So for example, I can ask him to talk, take its name, and die.
Whoa.
Watch out there. So he's doing all three at once.
Yeah.
I can ask him to wait, spin, and go. So see, he didn't do that spin behavior until I gave him the go, which is the release signal.
And they can remember the, your sequence of signals, like store them up. That's
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
what do you think? Can you clap for Ollie?
Well, it seems like they just really enjoy hanging out.
Decent video, but I'm gonna label this one as a failure. He definitely got closer to talking to the bonobos than he did the dolphins. And I think the answer is
Hey.
The last video
你是真的在看报纸吗？
那不然呢？
看英飞了？
对呀。
你真的能看懂吗？
对呀。全球1000。
Hey. Huh? 你是真的在看报纸吗？
那不然呢？
你看英飞了？
对呀。
你真的能看懂吗？
对呀。全球1500万人死于新冠。
哎呦我靠！
找一个好一点的新闻。
你的中文为什么这么好？
你刚才听到我讲中文了吗？
对呀，我刚才走过了。
还行吧，还行吧。没。
你不是小马吧？
对。
See ya.
对呀，我可以给你刷一下刷。
可以。
不好意思。
1、2、3。你也会讲中文？哎，哇。Hi. Could I get? Is this like a buffet? Oh, okay. I just want. Is this like a buffet? Like, what do I order?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you like it?
I don't know. Like,
So
me faccio adiane we figana, na.
Figure.
Okay.
So how do you like it?
I don't know. Well, we'll pay DMPA. We'll pay DMPA.
Party. I don't know what to say. Okay, I'm going to give you the half rice and chicken. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Meno uncio. Uncio. Getting food first time.
I don't even know where that's from. Obviously, it's was it not?
That was really good.
Where is
Hi. Are you open?
Chicken and lamb.
Chicken and lamb? Bahura chahe? Okay. Chahe.
Chicken and lamb.
Chicken and lamb? Bahura chahe? Okay. Chahe.
Where are you from?
I'm in New York. मैं अमरीकी हूँ.
You American?
Yeah.你喜欢吃吗？你喜欢吃吗？辣的不敢吃。你喜欢吃吗？你喜欢吃吗？辣的不敢吃。啊，对呀，这样很简单。我去了中餐馆，我只要指出一下我的纹身，他们就给我来了一个宫保鸡丁，很好吃啊。
知道这个是什么吗？
马蹄。我只是看字，我不认识是什么东西。
啊？
是我只是看
字啊。
对。
厉害呀！
那不然怎么做这个呀？不然怎么？
你给人家。
是不是？是不是？那这个怎么煮？直接吃。
知道吗？
肉饼。但是这个不是肉。
放在里面。
哦，放在肉饼里面。
啊，用来包它。
哦，对。
哇，你好厉害呀！
还行吧，还行吧，还行吧。
你是专门去中国学过吗？
对呀，我在中国待过1年。
哦，1年就这么厉害了？
还行吧，还行吧。4蚊。啊。4块。
啊，对。
广东话应该是讲小小。对呀。And where are all these clothes from?
They take American.
Nigeria. 4块。
啊，对。
广东话应该是讲小小。
That is an American dollar. And is this in America or yes? Well, I mean, it could be. This could be like a Chinatown. I for some reason thought this was literally in China, but I'm looking at the building behind him and I'm like, no, that looks like American architecture.
Yeah. And where are all these clothes from?
Nigeria.
This is
Nigeria. Yo, boy, you're
Yo, all of them looked up.
Yo,
this is a second generation right here that doesn't speak any baby. That's because she was like, yes, I do. Maybe let's see this. Okay.
Moso Yoruba, yeah. Ayin ko. Bawani.
Oh yeah, second generation.
Igbo, okay.
Man, I need to make a video, man. Fuck!
Me too, I'm telling you.
Ekaso.
Níbo ló ti wá?
Mo jẹ́ American.
Oh, American,
yeah. Ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ lọ sí Nigeria.
Nigeria, okay.
Yeah.
Nígbà wo?
Maybe like next week. Well,
yes,
This is, I've never seen anything like this. I can't believe it.
So lórúkọ Yorùbá.
Right. Yeah. Efumi.
You even speak more than me.
Ṣé o like Olúwafẹ́mi? God loves me.
I like that name.
Ṣé o like Olúwafẹ́mi? God loves me.
I like that name.
This is nice. Nice to meet you, my brother.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, you make me so proud now.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is Hyderabadi food?
Yes.
Oh, Miku.
Is Middle Eastern or something.
Telugu bocha? Miku Telugu bocha? Yeah. Miku Ishtamaina bocha meti?
Good biryani only.
Kavali? Yeah. Sorry, my Telugu is still pretty basic, but Nerchukuntunanu.
How did you learn Telugu?
Just online, honestly. Naku Hyderabadi bojanam chala istam. Yeah. Endukante Telugu Nechukali. Ani anukuntunanu. So.
Yeah, you speak very well.
Ipudu nenu koncha matrame.
Yeah, but people hardly speak this Spanish.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he probably knows only a basic understanding of most of the languages he's speaking, like conversationally wise, but he knows enough to not sound like an idiot, I guess, because like people that are fluent are getting him and responding to him, or at least trying to engage with him. And if you're able to do that with as many different languages, of course you're gonna, mess up a little bit on the way. So when he like stutters to get out a basic sentence out sometimes, I do that in English all the fucking time. That's my native language, alright? So I'll give him a pass, because at least conversationally fluid is good. Like I always tell people, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I know enough that if I were to get lost in Mexico or another Spanish-speaking country, I'd be good enough to find my way home, I might not be able to read every sign, but I can ask the right questions to hopefully the right people and find my way back. I can't say that for nearly as many languages as this homeboy knows, and he could probably do that for all of the languages that he's doing in this video at the very minimum,
No, at least I'm able to understand you.
Yeah.
And you're able to understand me.
There we go. That's great. Yeah. You got a chai, Bagunda?
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta try.
Okay. Free chai. Doesn't get better than this. You could Tina Galana.
You wanna eat here?
Yeah. Oh wow. Chala Bagundi.
What a chai.
Chala Bagundi. Laku Hyderabadi biryani. Tina lady. First time. Yeah.
Chef wants to click a pic with you.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You're the chef?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can really impress people with just.
嗨，你好，能不能给我们做一份白胸鸡肉配白米饭？
你要菜吗？
菜不要。
就只要肉是吗？
对，只要肉。
大的还是要小的？
小的。
一个。
一个对。
要辣吗？
不辣。
好的，要白饭。
白饭。
好的。
嗨，我是当的那个。
我的天哪！
She didn't know for a second. She was like, wait, what? I was just speaking fluent Mandarin and this white boy.
是要一个人吃的是吗？
对，一份。
就一份。
一份就好。
哦，
对。
Yo, she did not. Now I've seen it all.
为什么你的中文那么好呢？
还行吧。
你是在中国读书还是什么？
对呀，我在北京读过书。
哦，
对。
原来这样，我说怎么可能？我还以为是谁呢，吓死我了。
Right, dude. Hi, how are you? I wanted to try some of these. Well, मैं उर्दू सीख रहा हूँ. मुझे पाकिस्तानी मिठाई ने बारे में नहीं पता. So आपकी कौन सी favorite है?
Try करेगा.
Okay.
कितना करेगा? एक pound करेगा?
Half pound.
This one's good one.
It's good?
Yeah, this good one. Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, I trust your opinion. I don't know. मैंने कभी नहीं खाया.
American? You
Hey.
American?
Yeah. American. No. I just मुझे पाकिस्तानी खाना पसंद है और पाकिस्तान का culture.
Hello, 你好啊，你想
And this is his best language right here is the Mandarin because, like he said, he learned in the Beijing land. That's the factory land. That's where they make these people that speak this. His Mandarin is crazy, and enough people in the world speak Mandarin that it's actually a language worth learning. I gotta do that one day. I swear. I could get so many girls. You don't understand.
要什么点什么餐？
Just want to know what you want. Like what I want to order.
Do you have like General Sauce chicken? General Sauce chicken.
哦，左中鸡。
What's that?
哦，不好意思，没有。
What?
I just say they don't.
Do you have like dumpling or like?
他们，你穿我们最好吃的肠粉，还有鱼蛋肠粉。
What?
猪皮肠粉，牛杂肠粉。
Like rice rolls, like steamed rice rolls, like you know what that is?
Actually, can we get dumpling?
你要什么大本？
What?
韭菜鸡蛋。
哦，你会讲中文？
对。那不然我怎么给他翻译呢？
哦，对。
对，他想要韭菜鸡蛋的。
哦，没有。我以为就他会讲中文，原来是你。
Obviously, you look at the Asian-looking kid and you're like, he's gonna be the one that speaks Mandarin out of the two of them, right? And then he's like, dude, what is this guy saying to me? Bro, can you translate? And then like, oh.
会讲中文。
他是美国华人。
他是美国华人。
对。
应该要懂一点中文啊。
What? He says, well, you should at least know something, right?
要不要来我们这个 number one 啊 number two 啊？
哪一个 number one 吧？来你们店特色的
啊，咖喱鱼蛋肠粉，
对，
好不好？好像正宗的中国人讲中文。
谢谢。
Oh man, that looks so good too.
That looks sick.
Is that fish bowl?
Originally, I thought it was gonna be like.
很好吃。
没有照片啊？
照了，很多了。其实他会讲中文的，对吧？
他会讲中文呢？
他会讲中文，他开玩笑。
马哥中文，我刚才跟你开玩笑。
哦，刚才开玩笑。我知道。
Can you Enki talk, my friend?
You go.
Imagine going out there to be like, yeah, I'm
Kayu? Egorpan. Karalana? Kaiji Smith. Kaiji Ari. Ari Simil. Kaiji Ari. Mole I will Kenya. Mole I will Kenya. Taisere Kayu. Taisere Kai Nole. Kai Nalo. Kai Nolo Marcani. Kata intro ruet, kata intro masani eti karaju tesimu naisometa ki masani tesimu I appreciate it. Apart.
Here?
It hurts a little bit. Yeah. 它其实就是那种爽痛，你知道吗？
中文这么好？
有吗？还行吧，我觉得。
你在哪里学的？
北京啊。
哦，北京。
对。
在北京待了多长时间
？1年。
1年都说这么好？我在这里20年，我英文都说不好。
没有。
你这里都懂了吗？一会儿用那个红花油给你抹抹。
哎，我喜欢这个。
你喜欢？
喜欢。
有的老外也很喜欢。
我也是老外吗？
但是有些不喜欢。
有些不喜欢。是吗？
他就说这个是什么味道？这个一定要搓到它渗透。
哦，是。
忍住，
对，
忍住，它都不痛。
但是我像个小朋友一样，很难忍住痛。
是。他说是中国的东西，我不用，我怕出问题。你给他用，他就告你。
他嫌是中国的东西，OK。那你用的，请问你用的 iPhone 也是中国的东西？你要告苹果公司吗？
对呀，所以说有些人就还有打中国人啊，滚回中国去。你们把病毒带回来了。你看我们楼底下那个女的等地铁的，打了她1个月没上班。
对，
新闻都报道了。
我老婆那个时候都不敢出门，不敢一个人坐地铁，都很害怕。
很害怕，真的歧视中国人。
对，
这个都不应该歧视了，政府是政府的事。人民还是人民，是不是？
对。
跟老百姓，
对，
不鸟的。
哎呀，哎呀，
不要擦它啊！
不擦。
要，好，谢谢，1份就好了，1份就好了，好，谢谢。中文那么好，没有，你真是太客气了。是啊，中文就好，英就不要。没有，人才有开心，化妆好，是不是？这个好也有。那个你有没有用？
哦，那个看起来不错，我们来一个那个吧。
OK，好，我们有1份啊，好，谢谢。
哦，没有你们的好。没有，凑合。
Those are all Korean. Those are not been sold at all. I mean, they're not been owned.
Shima Jewelry business on Diego.
Yeah, when he's... You can tell which languages he's not as fluent in.
Right, it's right.
Yeah.
What's good? What do you recommend? This one? 呢個好食定係呢個好食？ This one?
She was like, dude.
Both? 2個都好吃是嗎？那油饺我好像没吃过哎。好吃吗？我也想吃啊。它跟鱼丸差不多吗？还是好吃这个 OK？ 那
They're fascinating.
Okay.
They're like watching an exhibit.
这个鱼饺。
They're straight up deadlocked in this conversation.
Evan， 你要不要过来跟我享受一下？这个真的很好吃，告诉你，受一下，这个真的很好吃，告诉你。
Everybody's just fascinated.
What kind of food is this? Vegetarian food?
Wait, Jamaican? I thought they just... Oh no, I guess they do have their...
Delicious. Very spicy, but good.
I'm telling people, but I'm confused who I'm talking about.
Jerk chicken?
Yeah.
Smells so good. I'm really like.
You smell it?
I smell it, yeah, and I'm
yes,
like.
Man, I do the best jerk chicken out here.
Do you?
Anywhere you go, you don't smell it like.
Really? Okay.
I'm cooking.
Oh boy.
And I have ready one.
Oh damn.
You want a $6 plate?
Yeah, can I get a plate? All right. Est-ce que vous parlez créole? Yontikal? I'm learning Creole.
Oh, you learn?
Yeah, I'm learning Creole.
I'm a Jamaican.
Oh, Jamaican. Me never yet go a yard, but me love finyam some real Jamaican food.
I like how you talk that one.
Yeah. Thanks, son.
When you speak the real Jamaican patois,
Right.
I listen to you.
Yeah. What is it? Is that a coconut? What's going on?
Breadfruit.
Breadfruit. Breadfruit. Oh shit.
Yep. That is nice.
I don't think I've ever had that.
It is good for. It's good for
By
everything
Flatbush?
in your body.
Yeah,
Really?
no, Beverly
Yep.
Hills Station's so flat.
Very nice.
If y'all put some sauce? Yeah.
You're getting everything.
Everything.
This is the sauce I make.
You make this?
Yeah, I make
Wow.
I make the jerk sauce.
Yo, this
Oh,
is
that's great.
I don't
Grandma
buy it.
chefs it up.
One lady come here one time and
Yeah.
video me. At the time she said I have to go on TikTok.
TikTok.
And I don't use TikTok.
I post on TikTok sometimes too, but on YouTube a lot.
Old to go up on TikTok.
That shit looks so good. I'm not gonna hold you.
Wow.
That's probably some official jerk.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, great.
I know.
I'm very happy. Thank you.
I know you're gonna love it.
Actually, do you have change? I only have a 50. Do you change for a 50? Yeah, you can keep it. Bless up, bless up. Ah, you have it. Okay.
Oh, that's too much.
You take it. This is so good. I really love it. You keep it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. God bless you.
Bless up, man. Bless up.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. Delicious. Really good. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Oh, come here before you go.
Yeah.
They say you ever eat this here.
Oh, the breadfruit. Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay.
Tell me how you like it because it's very nice
Wow.
and it's good for your health.
It's good
It's a
for your
health
head.
food.
Oh, it's so good. It's like sweet potato. It's like
Well, that's how you feel like it.
oh, like banana. Wow.
That's it.
That's my first time.
Yeah?
Damn.
Thank you so much.
All right.
guys.
Have a great day. Thank you. Egole. Egole. Egole.
How well does he speak Haitian?
Okay. Do you guys have like drinks? It's like yeah, water. Do you have change for a 50? No?
That's fine. You can have it. I'll pay for it.
No. That's okay. I feel bad. I only have 50.
Don't feel bad. It's a blessing, but today's your day.
No.
Really?
That's
She's
fine.
gonna.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I feel
Go
bad.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my God, no.
She got you. Go ahead.
No, that's so nice.
Brother,
Merci.
we all need somebody,
Merci.
you know?
Yeah.
Today might be my turn, tomorrow is your turn. It's
Wow.
nothing. You feel me? It's one love.
Wow.
Understand?
Yeah, Zorange. Zorange too? Oui. Hein? Moi parler yontika. Moi parler yontika. Oui. Ma pas prendre ak zami haïtien, oui. Oui. Qui ça c'est populaire na Haïti?
Okay, I called you guys there, yeah.
Let me hook you up, brother.
You have rice?
Wow. I got rice,
Okay.
yeah.
You got
Alright, we're back. I engaged with the cat and I messed up my mic. It won't happen again.
Rice, haïtien.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, there's rice.
All right.
We're gonna hook you up.
Maybe I have like a 18. Okay, I really appreciate it. Yeah, here I'll just give you the 50. You don't need to give me change. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. No, it's fine. I take it. You gave me the water for free. I really appreciate it. Merci beaucoup. It's okay. Thank you guys.
It's a tip.
Merci. It's a tip. Thank you guys for showing me all this stuff. Yeah. Okay.
If you want some food too, some nice Asian food, I got the spot right there.
I learn a lot of
he's
language
hooking
in
you
this
up
video.
with
so-
Yeah, you got it. You have
Yeah.
Me, I speak 4 languages.
What?
I speak 4 languages.
You speak 4 languages?
Yeah, I speak French,
Kisa langue
Creole,
Yeah.
Parle français, créole,
Creole.
parle anglais,
Parle
a little bit
anglais.
Spanish.
Oh, español.
What is it?
Me parla español también tú.
Okay. Poquito,
Yo
poquito.
tica. Yo también. Yo
Okay.
también.
No problem, definitely.
Cool, guys. Nice
One
to
love,
meet you guys.
understand?
One love.
Anytime, understand?
Yeah, man. Listen, people that have been through it are always the
Okay.
nicest people because they know to look out for other people because they've been through it. They needed that kindness, so you gotta pass it on. That foreigner with the foreigner shirt.
Understand?
Okay.
Hả?
我的衣服怎么了？不好吗？
好。
我可以买点蔬菜吗？
They got called out, man. They were speaking English.
好，可以。
还是
他们说你这个
怎么了？
这个好看。
哦，老外好看，好看。
They were fucking. They were talking shit about him. But they switched it up as soon as they realized.
小白菜吧。
I mean, in a nice way, I guess.
很多年。对，我
你很聪明。
没有。
而且你说的很好的。
还行吧，还行。
很好。女朋友是不是中国人？
老婆是中国人，对，北京来的。
Okay, yeah, no. So the white lady he was with wasn't his wife.
Oh.
His wife is literally from Beijing.
我很喜欢喝豆汁儿。
豆汁儿好不好喝？
很好喝。
很好啊，他讲的味道很正的。对。很帅，你很帅。
很帅？没有。不帅吗？我已经有老婆了，还是？我今天再拍一个视频，看看中国人会怎么评价我的衣服。那。
有的人讲的马马虎虎，但是你讲的很好。
哎，还行吧，谢谢。
所以你的老婆很有眼光啊。
啊，是吗？
当然了，找到你就很有眼光。
Hey, hello. Do you have
See, they were trying to.
Gujarati Thali malache? Yeah. Rotlo ane undu malache? Yeah.
That is, I need the affection eyes. Where is he? I hate that my camera won't get him. You see his little head right there? You see it? That's the little demon that follows me around everywhere. He's just staring at me, streaming, begging for attention. Alright. One more video. We got the gist of dude speaking language. I haven't really said much, so we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and then this will probably be the last thing we do today. Let's see. I know I put some videos in here. I don't know if any of them are gonna be appropriate. This stuff, right? I guess is what I wanted to. No, what? What?
That's a lot of people. How we doing?
It's a long video. I think I started this, but this wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, because the criminals are just not very smart, obviously. Fine, we'll start with this, and we might skip through it a little bit.
You know, we all, I think, are led into the belief that sure, that the world's population is growing, perhaps exponentially still. That's what I would have said at that time, based on what I was learning. And I had no idea that the actual dynamics of everything from how work is going to be like, to how society is going to be like, to how pension systems are going to be like, is fundamentally flawed. And at that moment, I realized something's wrong, because you know what? The same trend was showing up for Germany and Italy and Japan.
South Korea.
Yeah, well, South Korea was just a little bit later, which was interesting. But something triggered in the early 1970s in Japan, Germany, Italy, and you can add Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Austria, to cause a series of parallel trends. And yet, what I was reading from experts was that these are localized problems. That Japan, it's work-life balance. That in Germany, it's something called Rebenmutter, which is the idea that in parts of Germany, even today, for a woman to have a child and go straight back to work is really something that culturally shouldn't be done. So that might cause some people to delay parenthood. In Spain and Italy, it was down to high unemployment among the youth. Other areas, it was gender balance, etc. So all these localized reasons were being proposed. For me, as a data scientist, you could see clearly, and if I can give you an analogy, it's one of your own. You were talking to Lex Friedman. You talked about the dragon. I think in terms of the environment context, if someone finds a dragon and they scream, "There's a dragon." And I love the analogy, and I since saw that you use dragons quite a lot, so I thought I might too. And it's like you found this little dragon in Japan, and the same kind of dragon in Germany and Italy at the same moment in time, parenthood. So that might cause some people to delay parenthood. In Spain and Italy, it was down to high unemployment among the youth. Other areas, it was gender balance, etc. So all the
So the topic of conversation is societal collapse. I thought it was for a second going to be a bit more specific to like economic or social collapse. No, we're talking about the whole world crashing down. So buckle up.
These localized reasons were being proposed. For me, as a data scientist, you could see clearly, and if I can give you an analogy, it's one of your own. You were talking to Lex Friedman. You talked about the dragon, I think, in terms of the environment context. If someone finds a dragon and they scream, "There's a dragon." And I love the analogy, and I since saw that you use dragons quite a lot, so I thought I might too. And it's like you found this little dragon in Japan and the same kind of dragon in Germany and Italy at the same moment in time. And they're starting to get bigger, and I saw...
So they're lizards to begin with.
Right. I mean, they're tiny. They're the size of a kitten, I think, is an analogy I saw. Right. And they're getting bigger, and then suddenly they're appearing in other neighboring countries, and it's growing from there. So the idea that these are localized issues, to me, just did not make sense.
So why do you think you were struck to begin with by the fact that birth rates were plateauing or declining? I mean, because the typical response to that would be either, so what, there's too many people on the planet anyways, or actually it's a net good. So now you said you're in a private company. Now, I should let everybody watching and listening know that one of the markers for the trustworthiness of a data analytic company is that people will actually pay for their information. And so, it doesn't necessarily mean that a private data analytic company is credible, but it does mean at least that they've been able to demonstrate their credibility enough so that they have paying customers, and that's not an easy thing to manage. And so you were doing short-term forecasting that was integrated into the capitalist economy, let's say,
yes,
to help people plan their product development and so forth. But you came across this data at a much broader level indicating a plateauing birth rate or population growth. Why did that disturb you? Why did you think that was a problem?
Because birth rates less than replacement level spiral downwards. They never stop. If you have fewer children that are required to replace the parents' generation, once that generation grows up, they will, unless birth rates change, which they don't historically, they stay low once they're low, you're going to have fewer people again.
And so you see it as a positive feedback loop.
It is. And when you then look up, well, what do you want to find examples of societies coming from low birth rates going back to replacement level, and you realize there are no examples. In fact, there's no known historical examples anywhere. And some people
do we have enough of a historical track to consider that a concern?
In modern times, if you look at the number of countries who've fallen to birth rates of 1.7, 1.6, 1.5, when you have no single example of a country going back to replacement level, we should be concerned. In fact, we should be very concerned.
Right. I know.
So it seems like the argument is we should be worried about the declining birth rates because they consistently decline and they never bounce back. So while it's not apparent now, there will come a time where it's like there are clearly less people on the planet than there was because we're not making them as fast as we used to. And I can kind of see that if this is true and this were the case, that several generations down the line, this could mean a very significant problem for the human population. thought process is that the solutions that we could present to stop this problem would, at the current time, be too susceptible to some sort of corruption or agenda or some form of consolidation of power or wealth, because that's what the people in charge do. I unfortunately hold the unpopular opinion that it takes a worldwide extinction level threat to bring humans together beyond the current rifts that divide them. In the face of the current rifts that divide them, because the only way people are willing to put aside the very things that we consider evil about human beings, that some people argue is, inherent to our very nature, can't be put aside until we're faced with such an enormous threat that it's very likely that nothing will last past ourselves and what we are now, like, in sci-fi films, basically, because I don't think anything like that has happened in human history to date, So, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it doesn't take something like that to, get us to look past differences and try to figure this shit out for the better, because if this is an actual problem going into the future, we don't want that to be the case, But let's not let that happen.
Places like Quebec, for example, in Canada, with very, very low birth rate, have tried to institute government policies that, for example, make daycare in principle more accessible to young women and in young families, although that's had pretty much zero impact on the outcome. I know that Hungary has put forward a series of policy transformations on the family support front, and my belief is, from what I've read, is that they've at least stopped the birth rate decrease and increased it slightly. So that's the only, Quebec, it didn't work at all. Hungary, it looks like there's some minor, they're still way below replacement, so it hasn't rectified the problem in any sense.
What's fascinating about Hungary was what I wanted to do was look at something much deeper than the typical birth rate numbers that we see today. And I'm trying to change that. If you look deeper, you can find data that if you merge together, which I don't believe anyone had ever done before, that gives you two measures. One is of societal childlessness, and the other is family structure. What I call world of unplanned childlessness, if I can. I've had to coin quite a few phrases here, and explain. I should explain what I mean by unplanned childlessness. If you
followed that path, and some of them were women who had initially decided that they didn't want to have children and then changed their minds quite dramatically in their late 20s, which is a very common pattern, and then couldn't have children. And it was just absolutely disastrous for them. They were often on the, artificial fertility.
Health.com and use code Peterson for 10% off to join their guided optimization program with your personal medical team. That's MerrickHealth.com, code Peterson. Stop guessing, start leading, and start with Merrick Health.
Well, first of all, I think that's a terribly sad thing to contemplate, that we have to somehow enforce perhaps lifelong grief and sadness on a subset of society who were mostly unlucky enough not to have the children they wanted to have for the sake of the planet, when there are other
hypothetical sake, hypothetical
right,
planet, at some future time.
At some future time. Mm-hmm. And to me, the first thing, my reaction, strong reaction, isn't there another way, if that's right? And then you look at data, as a report in Nature last year, on the overall footprint by age group. Quite a number of scientists put their name to it, and it states very clearly that 8% of our footprint occurs when we're aged under 30. Then it rises quite significantly between 30 and around 65, I believe, and then it falls off sharply. Well, that means that if the world's births were to magically, well, it wouldn't be magic, drop by, say, half. I love taking extreme situations. So let's imagine that from tomorrow, only half of the births happen for some crazy reason. That 8% of total emissions or footprint would go down to 4% in 30 years' time. This is going to have almost no impact for decades, at a time when I think we have to find other solutions as much as they're needed to solve problems that are out there. So the idea that we're going to inflict this pain, deep personal suffering, pain in people, and perhaps be pleased about it, as I know some people are, I think is terrible, terribly sad. I think it might be that...
I'm not sure what the argumentation is here, but if it's that people can't have kids today because of the ramifications it can have on the impact of lives of people that are not yet to live, this whole premise seems a bit confusing, actually.
Spouse, a parent, or a leader.
Biological restrictions on their reproductive capacity. The reason that's a problem is because so many women end up in that situation despite wanting children. So that's a real psychological problem. But you could take a sociological stance and say, well, as has been insisted upon for 60 years, there's too many people on the planet, and it's just not a bad thing at all if we stop reproducing in this manner. And if the price we have to pay for reduction in the number of excess mouths to feed is that there are some unhappy women, so be it. What do you think about this at a sociological or political or economic level?
That's where we were. So yes, people are telling women or people as a whole to not have kids because of the ramifications it could have on the planet. I don't think there are as many people that buy into that specific nature of the argument as some would have you believe. I don't know if that's necessarily JBP's personal stance. I do, however, know that rhetoric does exist. I don't know how many people buy into it. I think more people are less inclined to have children as a result of personal blocks rather than societal or planetary. You know what I mean? Like, less people care about the future generation and the welfare of the planet going forward than whether or not they can actually afford to feed a kid now because they live check to check and barely get by on their own rent and stuff like that. I think that's a much more prevalent determining factor in whether or not someone decides to have a kid as to, whether or not that kid is going to be a drain on the environment or not. You know what I mean?
Spouse, a parent, or
that 8% effect on your life. Real estate values fell to virtually nothing, especially because that's where most people put their nothing. I mean, Detroit has recovered to some degree, but we don't know at all what the world would look like if real estate values fell to virtually nothing, especially because that's where most people put their retirement value.
Infrastructure and bridges that the city couldn't afford, and of course in 2013 it went bankrupt. So I had this backdrop to knowing what was happening to Detroit as a city. And you're right about property value. Around that time, you could buy a significant property in Detroit for $10,000.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't go there.
So to wrap it up, the point of the video, I believe, is to plainly state that society as a whole would be much worse off if people decided to not have kids for the sake of future generations as opposed to whether if they just were able to do so. And I think that's a fair enough argument as that is. I don't know how much politics play into that. Maybe not as much as some believe, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't even know. Anywho, thanks for joining me today. If you did, I just realized now I didn't even do my intro when I first started my real intro, but we'll do it now on the way out. So yeah, thanks again for joining me today. If you did, if not, join me next time. I'm sorry we started an hour late and we ended basically close to an hour early, but it's about that time. I hope everybody enjoys their holidays, their Christmas. Enjoy your gifts and stuff like that, and try not to let the world bog you down. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.